Hey, Randy Joe here, and welcome back to the channel where today we're going to be checking out the next in line of the Pink Floyd discography, that of course being the 1972 record, Obscured by Clouds. Real quick, if you want to see this unedited video, unedited reaction to this LP, as well as every other album I have covered this year, go ahead and check out my Patreon for $5 a month. You get all my videos unedited, as well as bonus content from the $5 tier upwards. So check that out in the description down below. Now, of course, if you've been following, you have known that I've been listening to every single Pink Floyd album in order since Piper at the Gates of Dawn, their debut. And today we are on Obscured by Clouds. And unfortunately, it being a bit more of a subtle LP, an LP that was a bit more transitional, it is sandwiched between Metal, a really fantastic, brilliant, beautiful LP, and of course, Dark Side of the Moon, their massive magnum opus. So it kind of puts it in a place of being easily forgotten, I feel. But let's see if the music on it is, worth the listen, because it's 40 minutes long. It's one of their shorter LPs, and, I've heard some people love it, and some people are pretty indifferent to it. I, however, am excited to hear where I lean. Kicking it off, though, let's start with the title track here, Obscured by Clouds. Okay. Quite an electric start here, and heavier than I expected. I love the wavery synth. Oh, I'm assuming that's Gilmour with his guitar. Always piercing through the instrumental. Really love the sound of this one. It's got a nice bite to it. Even this percussion, just nice, slow, kind of haunting. This is a beautiful opening instrumental, just very hypnotic. Especially that continual plodding. I like that one. It's simple, yet very direct. Great instrumental. Doesn't waste any time. Just really sets a stage. Let's go into When You're In. Let's see if it carries over. Ooh. Splashes right into it. Nick Mason kicking it off with his drums, of course. Now, I will say, I know this is a soundtrack LP. This is accompanying a film that came out the same year, which they had done before in the past with their LP More, their third LP, which was certainly, I would say, less interesting in terms of the chemistry. I feel like the chemistry of the band here with their instrumentals just feels far more rich, more dense, more careful. It definitely feels like they are a lot more in sync than when they were on More. So I think that says a lot about the growth of the band. Let's keep it going. I'm loving the instrumentals we're getting, though. Really, obviously, one of the best things about the band is just the tightness of their playing. And so heavy. I love this organ coming in. Is that a Hammond organ? Maybe Mr. Richard Wright. Such a galloping, triumphant sound. Okay, long fade out on this one. A 30-second fade out. Perhaps a little bit too drawn out here. I will say another great instrumental. Like I said, showcasing the chemistry here. Full effect. Obviously, they've at this point really come together and kind of mastered their chemistry, I would say, at, you know, this leading into mid-70s point. Here's Burning Bridges. Let's keep it going. 13.4 million on this next one. One of the more popular tracks. And I believe we got vocals, we got lyrics. I love the haziness that Pink Floyd tends to have in their music. The instrumentals just feeling very dreamlike. Vocally, just as dreamlike as the hazy instrumental. Oh, I love this switching of the vocals to the other side. Will Obscured by Clouds be a more chill, laid-back record? I'm hoping, because so far that's what we're getting, and I love a good, just vibey, you know, simple, chill LP every once in a while. This one would have a nice kind of evening summer feel. Like a nice winding down. Oh. That is a gorgeous guitar. Feels very like drugged out, that guitar. So just like gorgeously twangy. Far out. Love Gilmour and Wright when they're kind of paralleling one another on the ears here. I climb up and this now free falling descent. Super like just trippy and drugged out. Another gorgeous one. I love how quick the tracks are on this LP. After hearing echoes on Metal, such a massive magnum opus, and even Atom Heart Mother having, of course, that title track being 23 minutes, I believe it was. These quick 3-minute or so tracks, back to back to back, really make for just some, visceral, gorgeous, beautiful, flashy little tracks. Here's The Gold, It's in the... What a title. Kind of leads into the next one, I guess. A real classic rock kind of vibe coming on. Getting like strong, again, Beatles influence here. Really reminded me of stuff off of, like the White Album and Abbey Road specifically. Obviously, would make sense. Playing right into Gilmour here, I believe. Taking over a solo. Love how rapid this instrumental feels, A good sort of driving energy. Really great, like intoxicating back end of this instrumental. Just great solo as expected. I will say I do feel like the song is a little underdeveloped. It doesn't really go too far. You get that passage of lyrics. This instrumental takes up half, and then it just has that fade out, that classic fade out. Maybe not the best track, but at the same time, great chemistry as always. The band sounding as tight as ever. I feel like metal was really the peak of them kind of reaching their kind of unified sound, and from that point onwards, it's smooth sailing. Here's What's the Deal, which most popular track here, sitting at 22 million. I do like the more acoustic leaning that we're getting too on this LP. A bit of a kind of country leaning on this one. I feel like we are driving in the back roads. There's the title drop. Oh, love that gentle piano just for a moment there. Very just a quick splash of piano. Love how just like sweet and timeless this feels. And my man Richard Wright. Love him as a pianist, as a organist. Underrated in my opinion. Oh, that classic rising guitar there. I feel like Pink Floyd masters that. I love the fuzziness of the mix too on that guitar. Very distant. Such a beautifully breezy track. Like a nice summer eve. Maybe the most fully realized, most beautiful track here. Greatly fleshed out. Richard Wright getting some nice limelight, as he certainly deserves. And Gilmour, of course, as hazy as ever, really matching that nice kind of summer eve, laid back country twang that we got on that one. Gorgeous. Here's Mudmen. What a title that is, Mudmen. The titles on this one are very interesting. I'll give him that. Oh, no lyrics on this one. Instrumental only, once again. I will gladly accept. Man, Pink Floyd has some of the nicest drops in rock, I would say. Just the way they just throw you into it. Man, what a gorgeously dreamy, relaxed LP this has been. I love this instrumental. It's just such a vibe. Oh my god. Gilmour, take us away. Just lovely. How incredibly hypnotic. I like this synth here. Kind of warbling in and out. And then that reverbed guitar there, just echoing everything. Right back into it. So abrupt. That's it. What a man, that might be the best instrumental, but I don't know because I also really loved that opening title track. I gotta say, like, they are just killing it on this LP, even for a record that is essentially transitional. Really feels like they are still finding themselves as they have been the last few LPs. This is still better than most, musicians' best, piece of work. Like this is still a brilliant LP, even if it isn't as fully realized as some of their more conceptual records. So, props to Pink Floyd. I feel like this is an underrated record, even though it is from one of the world's most popular bands. Obscured by Clouds, you don't really see it brought up in conversation, despite the fact that the work here is still very strong and incredible chemistry throughout. Here's Childhood's End. Let's keep it going. Loving the just incredibly laid back appeal of this record. Okay, completely shifting away from what was once established there. Again, a bit of a country rock kind of feel to it. Nice grimy feel to this one. Really like the grimy kind of country vibe that we've had on the record. This one, feeling like we are in the midst of like a swamp. It's quite almost eerie in tone. It's about growing up, perhaps finding yourself, discovering your own identity as you age, and losing your childhood. Really just about something we would touch on later. A track, certainly I would say, about time, the passage of time, which, of course, one of their most famous, most popular tracks ever recorded was Time off of Dark Side of the Moon. It's clearly, again, taking ideas from Obscured by Clouds and their earlier records, polishing them further, and really putting them out on a record that is transformational. So the concept of time certainly not lost on Gilmour and the gang here. So let's go into Free 4. Thought Childhood End was brilliant. Once again, very brilliant. I feel like Pink Floyd isn't missing at this point, Very rarely do they go off base, I would say. Is that a synth in the background? Just so crunchy? Like this. Oh, who is singing right now? Is that right? Oh, Waters. Waters kind of gives a I don't know if this is a weird comparison. Roger Waters kind of gives off kind of Ringo Starr-esque vocals. That's what it reminds me of, like Octopus Garden here. At least this track, very Ringo coded. I like the nice kind of jolly instrumental. Another track about time, but in a more playful fashion, it would seem, which I am really enjoying. Gilmour back on his guitar here, taking over as always. Not sure how I feel about this back and forth between Gilmour and Waters. I think I would almost prefer Gilmour taking a back seat on this one with the guitar. I feel like Waters and the main verses here are, in my opinion, the strongest elements of the track here. Gilmour, we know you can play guitar. Let's leave a track once in a while, please. You might be overdoing it, in my opinion. Yeah, I like that track, but again, I do feel like Gilmour could could sit that one out. I do think the best element of it, the best parts are Waters and the main verses and the main kind of instrumental throughout those passages. Whereas Gilmour, once again, I will say, overdoing it a little bit. Here is Stay. Keep it going. This is the last track with vocals and lyrics. And Wright, Mr. Richard Wright, gonna be taking center stage here.
Stay and help me to end the day.
I would say not the best vocalist in the group.
Don't mind.
Certainly weaker than the rest.
We'll break a bottle of what lies behind those eyes.
Very lovely track, very sweet.
Midnight blue, burning gold,
But I do kind of like what he...
a yellow moon.
You know what? Not the best vocalist, like I said, but I think this more raw delivery he's giving kind of gives off, more sincerity in his voice. You know, it's very
It's growing cold.
just passionate, very real, very raw. I actually kind of like what he's bringing to the table with that slight edge to it. I like that climax, very powerful, especially that piano. Sounded like a raindrop. If that makes sense. So just twangy and funky in its sound. A really massive sort of finale closing here. Very iffy on this track. There's something about it that's just not quite doing it. It doesn't feel as fleshed out as some of these other tracks. I feel like could be some of those passages, those instrumental passages too, where they really climax, could have been saved for a much more grander, more well-paced, slower track that, of course, they are known for. Stay, I'm a little iffy on. I'm quite iffy on that one. Even, Mr. Richard Wright, his vocals, what he brings to the table there. Like I said, doesn't have a lot of he's not the greatest singer, I'll say that, and I do think his personality and the edge that he brings to it does add a rawness, a more vulnerableness, which kind of works with the kind of love theme throughout that one, but it's still not making it as one of my favorites, that's for sure. Here's Absolutely Curtains, the last track here, 5 minutes, I believe a instrumental, it would seem so, close it out. Which the instrumentals have been some of my favorite tracks on the LP. I just love hearing how tight the band is at this point. Of course, their atmosphere too being so dense and inspiring. Quite an eerie opening this one has. Slower, kind of reminding me of their more haunted sounding tracks such as Echoes even. They've really enjoyed using some vibrating synths throughout this record as well. This one just steady. Oh. What the hell was that? The Mapuga tribe, providing a chant there. Really shakes you awake. You can hear them. There they are. Quite a warm kind of communal feel to this end. There's a warmth in this outro for a track that started off so cold. I love this outro. But I'm a sucker for a nice community kind of tone. And there it is. Obscured by Clouds. Wow. Absolutely Curtains, I think, has a nice... Like I said, it starts off very cold, very dark. There's a lot of kind of ominous instrumentals sort of kind of phasing in and out. That main synth line as well, that is very, vibrating and just kind of raw in its energy. Greatly paralleled by that last half of that track. That tribe kind of coming in. Feels very warm. Feels very community-based. A great parallel between the atmosphere and the vibes on that one. Not really a fully fleshed out track necessarily. Doesn't feel like it has a distinct structure. But as an instrumental, I think it works pretty well as a closer. I'll say Obscured by Clouds, though. Let's talk about the whole thing here. Some really great passages on here, great instrumentals. I honestly think the instrumentals are all pretty much perfect. I wouldn't change any of them. I think they are fine just the way they are. Like I've been saying, really shows off the band, the potential, the chemistry, the unity the band has at this point. And really the best parts of the album are some of these instrumentals. But of course, What's the Deal? Track 5 was also fantastic. Had a nice twangy kind of country tone to it. Childhood End, I also thought was fantastic. Really shows them playing with concepts that they would later continue to do, such as the concept of time. I thought Free 4 was a pretty solid track, but could have been better with Gilmour actually taking a backseat, like I said. But for the most part, this record, despite the fact that it's not talked about, despite the fact that it's in between two pretty well-established, well-known records, that being both Metal and Dark Side of the Moon, I think this LP is still pretty brilliant on its own. I think the worst thing about it is that it is stuck between two records that I would say are obviously better than this one. But Obscured by Clouds, in its own right, is still a fantastic record that is worth listening to in like an evening. You want to wind down after a long day. This has some nice acoustics on it. It's got a nice kind of country feel to it. It's slower. It's kind of sweeter. And every track kind of hits you within 3 minutes or so. It's just quick bang, bang, bang. And then the record's finished. So it's a nice kind of cool down record, I would say. But yeah, that does it for Obscured by Clouds. And that does it for this video. If you liked the video, please hit like and subscribe to follow along in listening to more Pink Floyd albums alongside myself. If you want to see this video and every other Pink Floyd album I've covered so far unedited, check out the Patreon in the description down below, as well as Bjork, who we've been covering, and new album releases. But, as always, my name is Randy Joe. I appreciate you watching, and I'm signing off.